everyone, it's Keren here from tuppencecoloured.co.uk. Thank you very much for joining me today. This is what I've been making today. It's a butterfly easel card. So when you open the card, the butterfly pops out and you can put it on your mantelpiece and you can see the front and the sentiment inside at the same time. Very, very easy to do, so stay with me and I will show you how I made it. I've got a piece of Whisper White card which I've cut to 8 inches by 4 inches and I've scored it at 4 inches, and I'm also making a little score mark at the 2-inch mark. I'm going to flip the card over and make a mark at the 2-inch mark. I'm not going all the way across, I'm just making I'm just marking my center line. I'm going to bring in my my Big Shot magnetic platform and a cutting pad, and I've got the bold butterfly framelets, one of the bold butterfly set, and I'm going to line this up so that the dip in the wings, if you like, this bit here, is pretty much in line with those marks that I just made. So they're just to give me a guideline of where the card is going to fold, and I'm pretty happy with that. So I'm going to go and cut that out on the Big Shot, but when I go to cut it, I'm only going to put my top plate halfway, so that bit is not covered up, and when I run it through the Big Shot it won't cut, but that part will. And I will be right back. I'm back. Here it is. So now that part of the butterfly is free from the card. So I'm bringing my scoreboard back in, and I'm going to line up that datum line that I did before. Will it go better that way? I think it'll go better that way, with my midpoint line on my scoreboard, and I'm just going to score across, and I'm not going to score across the middle of the butterfly because that will now pop up and will be the easel part of my easel card. I'm going to be using stamps from the Watercolour Wings stamp set, and the thing I love about this particular set is that you can just build up your butterflies to be however you want them, really. You can just kind of mix and match. So I'm going to start off with this stamp, which is the plain background stamp, and I'm going to be stamping it in Soft Sky. But before I do that, it's lost a bit of its cling, so I want to show you a tip for bringing back the cling into photopolymer. And basically it's just got dusty. Now I could take it and I could wash it under the tap, but the thing that I find works better, and this is a tip that I learned from watching Connie Stewart, is this is an alcohol wipe. It says a pre-injection swab. It's what they use in the doctors to sterilize the skin on your arm just before you have an injection. And I got it from Amazon. I got I think about 50 or 100 of them, and they were very, very inexpensive, and you can probably do a few stamps with that one little swab. So I'm going to mount that up now onto my clear block, and I've got my silicone mat underneath, my piece of Whisper White, and I'm using Soft Sky ink. So I'm going to ink up my stamp. And the thing with the subtles is that they are just that. They're very subtle. And as you can see, I've used this stamp before, and that pink on it, it's stain. It's not dirt. It won't come off. It's not loose ink, as it were. So I'm just going to push that down, and I'm just going to press all over the stamp. And I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to give the ink time to transfer. And with any luck, yep, that's come out quite well. Now those faded bits, it's not the stamp is faulty, it's meant to do that. They are areas of shade to give you a bit of, subtle shades. So I'm done with that one. So I'll just give it a quick wipe with a baby wipe for now before I clean it properly. And where's the one I want? I want this one, which is the one with the big pattern on. Just put that that one away, otherwise when I come to tidy up after filming I won't know where it is. And pop that one. This time I'm going to use Tempting Turquoise, but I find that the Tempting Turquoise is a bit too strong when it's on its own, so I'm just going to stamp off onto a piece of scrap grid paper, and then I'm going to come back in with my soft sky outline, and I'm going to line that up as best as I can, and I'm just going to press down, and same thing again. Okay, now I could go on and I could add more layers. I could add shade around the outside, I could add some spots and dots, but I'm not going to this time. I'm just going to leave that where it is, and I'm going to bring in my my bold butterfly framelit, and I'm going to cut that out on my Sizzix, and I will be right back. And there's my butterfly cut out and ready to mount onto the front of my card. 2, 1. Alright, now if I was just going to mount this onto the front of my card, and as it is, I would want to stamp my butterfly's body in there, and the reason why I would leave it until this stage is that it is much easier to line up the butterfly's body once you've cut out the shape than it is to try and guess where the body's going to be. So you know, if you're just going to stamp the butterfly, just go ahead and put the body in when you stamp it, but if you're going to die cut it out first before you stamp the butterfly's body in, otherwise you can wind up with a rather funky looking butterfly. Now for the next stage, I've been doing some die cutting, and I've used the butterflies Thinlit, which is not in the same set as the bold butterflies, but they do complement each other. They do kind of mix and match, because as you can see I've cut out a few different shapes and they line up very nicely with the butterfly. And now I want to decide which one I like the best, because I cut out a few different colours, and normally I just cut them in black, and that's okay, that's fine, but I wasn't sure whether it would look better with a different colour on there. So there it is with the black, which I gotta admit I do rather like that. And this is chocolate chip, and again that's, you know, that's quite nice. That's a bit softer and more subtle. And this is basic grey. And how do I like it with the basic grey? And that's nice as well, but I think I'm gonna stick with what I know. I'm gonna go with the black. So I've got my wet glue, and I'm just going to use little spots of it. And if I was you know, mounting this on anything other than white card, I think I would probably take a sponge and just sponge round the edges, in this case in a soft sky, in just the same sort of background colour, just to take the stark white off. But I think because I'm mounting it on, going to be mounted onto a whisper white background anyway, it's not really going to be too much of an issue. So I'm just lining that up and just pressing that down, and all of a sudden that butterfly just comes to life. It's a little bit more glue under there. So what I'll do, I think, put a little bit of glue on the back of my hand, and I'm going to just dab that and press that down. There we go. Okay. So if I bring back my card blank, so if I now bring back in my card blank, I can now mount that on to that, and I've got the wet glue out, so on the back it'll be, you can see my previous failed attempt, because, you know, card has two sides and the glue does not want to come out. I think maybe have I finally emptied my Tombow? Maybe, could be. Okay, not to worry. I'll use the last little bit on my hand as well. And bring that in. And I'm going to line that up with the background of my easel card. Just wipe off my hand. Oops, got a bit of glue there, so just wipe that away quickly before it dries. And I'm going to leave that to dry. So still with the same stamp set, I'm using the Sentiment Just For You, and I've mounted it up on my acrylic block. And I've got a scrap of our ordinary Whisper White, because I should have said that I made the card out of thick Whisper White. And I've got my basic black ink. And I'm just going to stamp up my sentiment. I'm going to make sure I've got room to punch that out without getting myself in a knot. And as you can see, I've already been taking chunks out of this card, so just holding that down just for a few seconds for the ink to transfer. And I've got my washi label punch. I'm just going to line that up and punch. And while I've got the punch out, I've also got a scrap of Soft Sky, and I'm going to cut that out as well. Okay, right, now I'm going to put a bit of snail just in the middle of this piece, and then I'm going to chop it down the middle, making sure I've got some snail on both ends. And I'm just going to line that up with the Whisper White piece, and the same thing on this side. I don't know why I turned it over, because I need to see what I'm doing. There we go. And this now is going to be the stopper for my easel. So I've got a couple of dimensionals. Those will go on the back of my sentiment. And so how do I want it? Let me see, roundabout there, I think. Bring that forward a bit. There we are, I'm happy with that. And there it is, finished. So I do hope that you've enjoyed this project, and if so, I would very much like it if you would give me a like or leave me a comment. And if you have enjoyed this project, then please do think about subscribing to my channel, because I will be posting more soon. I have a blog, I have a Facebook page, and I have a Stampin' Up shop if you want to get hold of the things that I've used to make this card. But in the meantime, thank you very much for joining me, and I will see you again soon. Goodbye.